Hi, and welcome to Widow Talk, real conversations about the stuff people just don't talk about. Today we're talking to Lauren Leslie Carr, who, hi Lauren.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Lauren was widowed at 26 years of age when her husband James lost his life to his battle with depression in 2011. Today we'll be talking about being widowed without children at a young age and the decision that Lauren made to move forward and start a family on her own. So welcome, Lauren, and
Thank you.
let's just get straight into it.
Yeah,
Can
sure.
you tell me a bit about, or share with us a bit about you becoming a widow?
Yeah, sure. So I met James in 2007. This might be a bit corny, but this is him.
Hi,
that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite pictures of him. And we met that same year in 2007, and we were engaged 2008, married 2010. And James had a mental illness, and I knew that before I married him. And unfortunately, he passed away in 2011 when he took his own life. And then I found myself a widow at 26, bride at 25, widow at 26, which was not what I imagined for myself.
Of
or
course.
For James.
Yeah. And so, as we know, our world spins out of control when that happens.
Yeah. Very much so.
Specifically, what did it feel like for you entering this world of widowhood so unexpectedly, but specifically being young and without children?
Yeah. Well, it was obviously a massive shock to lose my husband after 18 months. Even though I knew he had a severe mental illness, and suicidal thoughts was something that he struggled with. It sounds ridiculous to say now, but I never thought this would actually happen. Yeah. You know, you just don't think it will happen to you. Yeah. Even when all the alarm bells are ringing. And, you know, we were newly married when James passed away, and planning our life together, dreaming of what our future would be, and children were a very, very big part of that. You know, we wanted to have 2 children together. We wanted to have 2 boys. We'd picked out their names. We were going to name one of them after my father and one of them after his father. And it all seemed so promised to me. I think the biggest, thing that I thought would happen that was unexpected would be, we might have a girl, you know. And I just never imagined that I'd lose James when he was 30 years old. And the realization that I would never have children with James was just devastating. Really, really devastating. Plus, I was at a stage in my life too where I was really ready to settle down and have that family life. And to just lose that was really devastating, and it still is, you know. Now that I am a mother, and I'm loving it. I know James, I don't think he believed he would have been, but I know he would have been a spectacular father. And so it's like I lost James, and I lost the future that we planned together. I lost the, imaginary children that I created, that I saw in my future. It was a lot to lose.
That promise of a new world after you get married just pulled out from under you.
Absolutely. It was all ahead of me, and then suddenly I just felt like I was just lost, completely lost, and it was scary. Yeah, I remember feeling really, really afraid. The day that he died, you know, I found out early in the morning, and then I don't know what happened with that day, but I just remember I came back from the hospital. I was hospitalized briefly with the shock, and then I came back home and Neighbours was on TV, and I remember thinking, how can Neighbours still be on? Like, surely they would have not been running these programs. The whole world should just stop because James is gone. Like, how's the world still going?
When the world stopped for you.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it exactly. Yeah.
So moving forward from that devastation and your world stopping, and when did you decide to dip your toes back into dating after losing James?
Yeah. It's funny. I didn't want to. I actually considered having a child on my own in 2012. I lost James 2011, and in 2012, I started telling my friends and family I should just have a baby on my own. There's no one else out there for me. And I made an appointment with the fertility specialist, and the clinic gave me the green light. But yeah, my family were not supportive. And yeah, the message from friends and family was, I'm so young and I'm so pretty. I'll find someone else, you know? And in many ways, it sort of felt like my loss and my grief was being minimized because the age that I was widowed and how brief my marriage was. And so, yeah, I just kept on getting that message of you'll find someone, just try, put yourself out there. And I just knew I didn't want to miss out on motherhood. And it seemed like the right way to do that was to find someone. And so that was what prompted me to start dating. And it was about 2 years afterward that I started dating, doing online dating. Oh, God. And I did meet someone, and we were together for a year. We moved in together, and it was hard to go from being someone's wife to being someone's girlfriend. I really wanted to have that family life. I really wanted to have children. And yeah, I mean, we weren't right for each other, but I probably put too much pressure on things because I just felt like time was not promised, a future was not promised, and things would happen if I made them happen. And that person, he was grieving too. He'd lost someone, lost his brother. And so it's, you know, two people grieving. It's not a great way to start a relationship. But yeah, it was the drive to, well, I want to be a mother that got me into the dating scene.
Dating again. Mm.
Yeah.
So you dated, you had relationships, they worked for a while, they didn't work.
Until they didn't. Yeah.
Until they didn't. Yep. Because life is life. Yep.
That's it. Yeah.
What got you? So then, what then got you to the point of saying, back in 2012, you went, I want to do this on my own. Didn't have that support, and the messages were, you know, you're young enough. What got you to the point of saying, you know what? Now I really want this. I want kids in my life. I want my own children, and I'm going to put that as my first priority. What got you to that point?
Oh gosh, I feel bad like admitting this because I don't want to put any widow or widower out there off going out and dating.
Yeah,
but for me, it was heartbreak after heartbreak after heartbreak that got me to the point that I'm at today, which is solo and solo motherhood. Yeah, I had probably 3 significant relationships. I did get engaged, and it just nothing worked. Nothing panned out, and yeah, it was really, really devastating, because heartbreak after widowhood is you know, I've had breakups before, I've had my heart broken before, but it was different having lost James the way that I lost him. It just seemed like with every single heartbreak, it was, see, there's no one else out there for you. He was it, and he's not coming back. Yeah, and so it was really, yeah, when my engagement ended, I just had enough. And you know, my siblings had gone on to, you know, get married. I was the first one in my family, out of my siblings, to get married. I was the first grandchild to get married, and in most of my friendship circles, I was the first friend to, or one of the first friends to get married. And so in the 8 years that it took for me to make the decision of, okay, I'm going to start IVF, and I'm going to, you know, have do donor conception. I watched people meet, get engaged, get married, have babies. My sister had 2 beautiful little girls, and I just loved being an auntie. I love being an auntie, and it just confirmed for me, like, motherhood will enrich my life immeasurably. And so I just had to admit to myself, I'm not happy just being special auntie Lozzie. You know, this is something I have to do in my life. And the reality of my age, you know, I was 34 when I started IVF. I'm 35 now. And I knew that, yeah, being a woman, there, you know, age is certainly a factor with fertility. So I just thought, you know what, I'm done. I'm enough. Yeah, I'm enough. I just have to love myself, and I can do it. And thankfully, I think my family witnessing all the pain and all the tears that I've cried over the years were just like, yep, Lauren, it's your time. So they were all on board. Work was great. Friends were great, and it all worked out, thankfully.
That's brilliant. So that shift in support sort of then gave you that confirmation, not that you necessarily needed it, but it certainly changed from when you first looked at it soon after James died. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, I also think maybe the world changed a bit toward it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, attitudes seem to be very, oh, you know, I think that's wrong, and that's not the right way to have a child. And now, yeah, lots happened from 2012 to 2020.
And I think, I think that's a good point, because I think also, I think as a society we have a better understanding of fertility issues, and that there is finite time, and it doesn't necessarily happen for everyone in the way that traditionally might have been the way that was perceived to happen. So
exactly.
I'm glad that world shifted a bit.
Yes. I mean, I do think, you know, 2012 to, I was a different person then. I was a different person when James was alive, and then losing him changed me. And it seems like every year of my grief changes me as well.
Yeah, totally.
And I approached having a child on my own very differently from 2012 to 2019 when I started. Yeah.
So what was your pregnancy like?
My pregnancy was a little bit lonely, to be honest. I was healthy, and I had all the excitement and the anticipation, great family support. Friends were just so happy for me. I think everything I've been through and losing James, people were just so happy to see something go my way and something work out for me. But yeah, that's I'm still a widow, aren't I? Like I'm still not sharing it with someone and not sharing it with James.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's I guess the difference from when I first looked into this to, you know, now when I actually went through with it. Back then I was like, it won't be James's child. And I was like, if I'm going to find a donor, it's got to look exactly like James. And it's like I was trying to, you know,
Make it happen.
get back any tiny little piece of him. And, you know, when I actually went through with it, I, you know, come to accept the loss much more.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have James's child or as close to James's child. I wanted to have my child. And so my priorities were more, you know, choosing someone who's got a good health and looks more like me than looks like James.
Yeah.
But I did think of James all through the pregnancy. My brother and his wife were expecting, so was my sister and her husband.
Wow.
So yeah, we were
Crazy.
really lucky. Yeah, we were really lucky to welcome 3 new babies into our family. But then I had these 2 really close relationships. You know, they were in their unit, and the, you know, the pregnancy was this bonding thing for them. And I spent a lot of nights, you know, going, oh my goodness, or I kick this, or, you know,
yeah,
wondering about things alone.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was sad. It kind of, I did still, I had excitement for the future, but the pain of the loss is still there.
So on that note, I know, and we both know, that grief is just always a part of us now. It's just part of who we are, and it ebbs and flows. Did your pregnancy bring your grief forward again?
Yeah. I yes, especially I think more so now that Max is here too, which has kind of surprised me. And I think that's what's hard for people that aren't widowed to understand sometimes, especially when so many years have passed.
Yeah.
I know I've definitely I've definitely gone over my expiry period in many people's minds of, you know, what's acceptable to still be grieving, but just so many things trigger it, you know, and it can come out of nowhere. And, you know, it was James's birthday a couple of weeks ago, and people would look at my life now and go, well, she's got her baby, you know, she should be happy now, her heart's fixed. Max is now a new piece of my heart that's wonderful and fulfilling and has brought peace back into my life. But there is a part of my heart that will always be broken. And the birthday, James's birthday this year, really, really surprised me just how much it hurt this year. Whereas the previous one, I was pregnant and I didn't feel it so much. But I think having Max here, seeing just how much more I'm learning about myself and watching him grow and just having so much fun with him. I just know James has missed this, and I feel sad that for him that he's missed this, and I wish I could share it with him.
Yeah. So you spoke a little bit about feeling lonely at times, and it so what was, on top of feeling lonely, what was hard about doing this alone in terms of your pregnancy and the whole process, I guess, and also what was easy?
Okay, so what was hard? Gosh, needing to plan things, lift boxes, build things, fix things, and there's no one there to do it. Though James, I would end up doing it all anyway, because James was not that great at that sort of stuff, especially assembling things.
But you could have roped him into it.
Yeah, he was just a perfectionist. So putting together a flat pack, like, I know lots of people struggle with that, but with James it would take like weeks. It was, yeah, everything just had to be perfect. Bless him. But yeah, I think that the hard stuff is that I'm mum and dad.
Yeah.
And when I do have assistance, like my mum has been very, very involved. But, you know, like, it's like sometimes it's almost like I will slip into the dad role. Like, I'll lift the heavy thing and I'll do this and like more of the dad type stuff, and that's kind of weird. But just the, you know, I think this doesn't, the pregnancy and having Max, it doesn't entirely, like, it doesn't change anything. It doesn't make James any less gone.
Yeah.
And yeah, the loneliness that it's still there. That I've got this new wonderful little man in my life, but a very important man is still missing from my life, and that still hurts. What was easy? The decision to do it when I'd reached that point. I'd had enough. And yeah, I think I just finally listened to that voice of no, maybe this is how I am going to become a mother, and I don't need to find Mr. Also right. You know, I had a great love, and it didn't last very long before, you know, fate stepped in. But you know, I just backed myself. I was just ready to do it. Yeah.
That's so good to hear, you know, that because I think grief really undermines our confidence in who we are as we rediscover a new person, because it always walks with us now. And as you said previously, it changes everything about us. And so finding out who we are and rebuilding that confidence is different for different people. And so getting to the point where you're able to back yourself to the point of moving forward in this huge way is great to see. It's wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
So on that note, do you have any advice for other young widows who might be considering this or in a similar situation, and, you know, haven't had the opportunity to have children, and that was taken from them earlier than what they experienced, what they expected rather? So is there any particular advice that you would give them?
I guess if you know it's what you really, really want, and you've tried dating. I mean, I don't regret dating. I had some lovely relationships and I met some lovely people, but, you know, it just didn't work out. And I am happy where I've ended up, you know. But yeah, I guess I don't want to be a cautionary tale of don't date, it's the worst. As, like, we know many people that have had wonderful experiences and now have wonderful new loves in their life, and I'm still hopeful that maybe one day in the future that's still a possibility for me. I think my advice is, you know, if you know it's what you really, really want and time is not on your side, being widowed young and being what other people consider to be pretty, it's not a guarantee that you'll meet someone or meet the right person to have children with. Yeah, I met people, I met lovely people, but the relationships, you know, didn't work out, and bringing children into that, just because I wanted a child so desperately, I'm proud that I didn't get myself into that situation of just, you know, staying in something that wasn't working so that I could be a mother.
Mm.
You know, Max doesn't have to be raised around a dysfunctional relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lauren, can I just say thank you so much for sharing your experiences and
Oh, you're welcome.
feelings on what is a difficult topic, and is a topic that isn't spoken about, or is, at times, if it is spoken about, as your experience has been, is discouraged.
That's right.
I really appreciate your honesty.
Silent and people shift in their seat. And they,
that,
she's talking
that
about that
energy.
again.
Oh, yeah.
Use the W word. Oh.
And that's, we don't want to talk about that. It'll just make her sad again. I know we all really appreciate your honesty and candour, and wish you and Max every happiness in your new life together.
Thank you.
For everyone who's watching, please check out firstlight.org.au, our website, which has more resources on being widowed, or how to help someone who you may know who's been widowed and you don't know what to do or where to start. Please follow our channel for more real widow talk videos, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, Lauren.
Yes.
Bye.
No worries. See ya. Bye.